Welcome, curious minds, to another Dup Dive. We all know that feeling, don't we? That constant rush of a busy life, the calendar just overflowing.
Mm-hmm. Seems like there's never enough time.
Exactly. And it often feels like personal growth, especially something big like learning a language. Well, it just gets pushed down the list
Yeah, no
again.
fears here, yeah.
But what if the secret isn't finding more hours? What if it's about, well, using the minutes you already have a bit smarter?
Interesting idea.
Okay, let's unpack this. Today, we're diving deep into how you can actually learn English even when you feel like you have absolutely zero time.
Right.
Our insights are coming mainly from English for Busy People, 10-minute daily learning. It's a resource that kind of flips the script on what study time looks like.
It really does. And our mission here really is to pull out the most important, um, practical, easy to follow bits from this.
The good stuff.
The really good stuff, yeah. We want to show you how you can genuinely weave English learning into even the most, packed schedules.
So it's not another chore.
Definitely not. The goal isn't to overwhelm you, it's to empower you,
Yeah.
give you a path forward that actually works that you can stick with.
Okay.
And what's really cool about this approach is how it uses consistency. It shows that these small, focused efforts, they can build real, lasting momentum.
And honestly, what jumps out at me from this source is how it challenges our old ideas about learning a language.
Uh-huh. Like needing hours in a classroom.
Right. Or just staring at textbooks forever.
Yeah.
This suggests something different, something, well, less scary, actually.
Much less intimidating.
Yeah. I'm really excited to share some, frankly, surprising ideas and simple strategies that could make a huge difference if you're juggling work, family, studies.
Or just, life.
Exactly. General chaos. It's not magic, is it? It's about being smart and intentional with those little moments.
Precisely. Smart engagement.
So let's talk about that struggle. It's pretty universal, I think.
Oh, absolutely.
Maybe you're a parent, running between school drop-offs, work, dinner, everything. Or a busy professional, emails piling up like crazy.
Or a student buried in coursework already.
Yeah. And in almost every case, the thought is just, there's no time. No time for English.
It feels true.
I remember trying to learn guitar a few years back. Got all the gear, the books, watched videos, totally pumped, and then life just happened.
Ah, the classic story.
Totally. And the guitar just sat there collecting dust because I couldn't find that solid hour every day. It felt like this massive wall I couldn't climb.
It does feel like that. And those time constraints, they're real. They feel huge, often impossible to get past.
Right. You feel beat before you start.
You do. You think meaningful progress must mean huge chunks of dedicated time? But, and this is the really great part about the source, English for Busy People, it doesn't just ignore these problems.
It offers a way through.
Exactly. It offers this incredibly powerful, yet simple core idea, learning English in just 10 minutes a day.
10 minutes. That's it.
That's the core concept.
Mhm.
Now, it's not about cramming everything into 10 minutes. It's about using something called micro-learning.
Micro-learn.
Yeah, breaking learning down into tiny, focused chunks, little bits that you can actually digest and fit into a busy day without much fuss.
Okay, I'm listening.
The key insight really is that consistent small efforts often work better than those long, infrequent study sessions that are just so hard to keep up.
Like the guitar collecting dust.
Exactly like that. Think of a small stream carving a canyon over time. It's not one big flood, it's that constant, steady flow. That's what builds something lasting.
So it's not just about discipline, it's how our brains work.
Precisely. It taps into how we form new pathways in the brain. Short, regular bursts reinforce them better.
Okay, that is the real aha moment here. That's where it gets really interesting. You
Mhm.
don't need that giant empty block of time. In fact, the source argues these consistent, small, daily bits aren't just possible.
They're super effective.
Yeah, profoundly effective. It's about smart integration, almost invisible into the day you already have, not blowing up your whole schedule.
Right. No massive overhaul needed.
So the big question then, for everyone listening who's super busy, how do we actually do this?
Good question.
How do we take these little 10-minute pockets and make them count?
Well, the source gives us 5 really practical strategies, and they're surprisingly easy to weave into your day.
Okay, let's break them down. Strategy 1. Listening while doing other activities. Now, for someone slammed, how do we turn, like, washing dishes or commuting into real learning time?
Right. This one's brilliant because it uses time you're already spending. The key thing here is the difference between just having English on in the background.
Passive exposure.
Exactly. Passive exposure, letting your brain get used to the sounds, the rhythm, even if you're not trying hard to understand, just building familiarity.
Okay.
And then there's active listening integration. You're still doing the task, but your brain is trying a bit more, picking out words, getting the gist.
So it's not just noise.
Right. This steady, gentle immersion helps your brain get comfortable. English becomes part of your environment, not some extra thing you have to schedule.
Makes sense. But how do you avoid it just becoming background noise then?
Good point. The trick is to occasionally shift your focus. Just for like 30 seconds, consciously try to tune in and understand a bit more.
Okay, so give us some real-life examples for that 10 minutes.
Sure. Say you're walking to the bus, doing dishes, cleaning. Instead of your usual music, switch to an English podcast, maybe simple news, an audiobook.
While cooking.
Perfect. Have an English YouTube video on maybe a recipe. Or your commute, even a short one. English radio, a short podcast segment.
So you're layering it in.
Exactly. You're already doing the activity, you just add an English layer.
Okay, that feels achievable.
Yeah.
It's seamless, almost. Right, strategy 2, speaking to yourself in English, self-talk.
Yes.
Now this one, it sounds a bit odd maybe, talking to yourself. How does that actually help improve your English, especially if no one's correcting you?
Yeah, it might feel strange at first, but it's incredibly powerful because there's no audience.
No pressure.
Zero pressure. It's a totally safe space to experiment, make mistakes, build confidence without feeling judged.
Okay.
And doing this helps your fluency. Your mouth and brain get used to actually forming English sentences on the fly. It's like building muscle memory for speaking.
But what about making mistakes? Aren't you just practicing errors?
Well, you won't get external correction, that's true. But the main goal here is getting comfortable using the language you do know. It helps internalize grammar and vocabulary because you're actively using them.
So focus on just talking, not perfection.
Exactly. The source stresses expression over perfection. If you're unsure about something, just make a mental note, look it up later maybe. It's like a rehearsal in your head.
A mental rehearsal. I like that. So it's a judgment-free zone for flexing your English. Give us some concrete examples for doing this in just 10 minutes.
Sure. As you're doing things, just describe your actions like, okay, I'm boiling water for tea now. Or, right, need to find my keys before I leave.
Narrating your day.
Yeah. Or narrate your thoughts. What should I have for lunch? Maybe that salad. Or you can practice little imaginary conversations.
Like what?
Well, if you're going shopping, think about what you might say to the cashier. Hello, just these items, please. Can I pay by card? Just get your brain generating English.
A private English gym for your brain. Okay, I get it. Next up, strategy 3. Quick drills or flashcard apps.
The apps.
What about those little gaps, like waiting for someone or on a quick coffee break? Those tiny moments?
This strategy is all about efficiency, using those short bursts for really targeted practice.
Like what specifically?
They're perfect for drilling new vocabulary, practicing tricky grammar points, the ones you always forget, or even quick pronunciation exercises.
And apps help here.
Big time. The source highlights how apps make it fun, give you instant feedback, track your progress automatically. They're literally designed for this kind of micro-learning.
Makes it feel like a game sometimes.
Exactly. Gamification, it can be quite addictive, in a good way.
Yeah.
The only real challenge is remembering to actually open the learning app instead of,
Scrolling social media.
yeah, that default habit.
So what kind of apps or drills work best for these quick 10-minute hits?
You could use a flashcard app like Anki or Quizlet. Just review a few words you learned recently. Takes maybe 5 minutes.
While waiting in line.
Perfect example. Or do a quick grammar quiz on an app like Duolingo or Memrise. They have these short, bite-sized lessons. Some apps even have pronunciation drills where you repeat stuff and give feedback.
Okay, using that dead time.
Exactly. Turning those useless moments into useful learning.
That's super practical, especially since we always have our phones. Okay, strategy 4. Micro-journaling or writing short thoughts in English.
Right, writing.
Now, writing often feels like this huge task, doesn't it? Like you need an hour, peace and quiet, aiming for perfection. How can we possibly do this in just 10 minutes? Feels like a mental block for many.
It really does. But this strategy works because it's short bursts. It totally lowers the pressure.
You're not writing an essay.
Not at all. You're just aiming to get some ideas down clearly. It helps you consolidate language. You've learned words, sentence structures by actually using them.
Makes you recall things.
Precisely. Forces your brain to recall words, put them in order, organize thoughts in English,
Yeah.
which is crucial for writing and speaking. The focus is just getting words out, practicing, not perfect grammar right now.
So consistency over perfection again.
Absolutely. Consistent application.
Okay, emphasis on expression, practice. Give us some easy examples for a 10-minute writing session.
Sure. Spend 10 minutes writing a short paragraph about your day. Today was busy. I had 3 meetings. Then I bought groceries. Simple stuff.
Or plans.
Yeah. Jot down a few sentences about tomorrow. Tomorrow I plan to finish that report and call my friend. Or look at a photo. Describe it in English for 10 minutes.
What you see, how it makes you feel.
Exactly. Or even just write down 3 new English words you learned and try to use each in a sentence. Keep it brief, regular, and focused on using the language.
That sounds way less daunting than writing a whole page. Makes writing feel more like a daily tool. Okay, finally, strategy 5. Using waiting time.
Yes, those little pockets again.
We all have them, right? Waiting at the doctor's, in the checkout line, on the bus. That dead time. How do we consciously make those moments productive for English?
This is a great one because it really highlights how much potential there is in those moments we usually waste.
I'm scrolling again.
Or just staring blankly. It makes you think, doesn't it?
Yeah.
How much time could be repurposed? These little gaps are perfect for quick review or engagement. No planning needed.
Found opportunities.
Exactly. Found time, not time you have to card out. The only trick is making that conscious choice grab the English tool, not the usual distraction.
So give us some concrete ideas. What can we actually do while waiting?
Okay, in line at the store. Instead of checking your phone, pull up those flashcards again, quick review, or scan an English news headline.
Waiting for the bus.
Listen to a short podcast segment, just 5 or 10 minutes, maybe a short story or news bit. Coffee break, read a short English article or blog post instead of scrolling.
Even just reading labels.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Reading English labels on products, trying to understand English ads you see, it all counts. These moments add up surprisingly fast over time.
Okay, so what does this all boil down to for you listening right now?
Mm-hmm.
It means that even with the craziest, busiest lifestyle, these consistent short bursts, just 10 minutes, they can genuinely lead to real, noticeable progress in your English.
It's totally possible.
These 5 strategies from English for Busy People, they're not just handy or effective. They're actually pretty easy to weave into your day. They become almost automatic.
By brushing your teeth.
Yeah, and they get rid of that need for huge, scary blocks of study time.
That's absolutely right. The real power here is in consistency. It's about forming that habit.
Mm-hmm.
Because knowledge is most valuable when you actually apply it, right? When it becomes part of your lives.
Yeah.
And these small daily steps, they're the perfect way to do that.
Builds momentum.
Totally. Reduces that overwhelmed feeling and creates a learning path you can actually stick to long term. You're not just learning English. You're building this positive, enriching new habit.
Okay, so here's a challenge for you, directly from us here at the Deep Dive.
Go on.
We really encourage you to try a 7-day mini challenge. Just pick one strategy. Or maybe 2 if you're feeling ambitious.
Like listening while cleaning, maybe?
Yeah, or using a flashcard app on your commute. Just commit to it. 10 minutes a day for 1 week. That's it.
See what happens?
Exactly. See how you feel.
Yeah.
You might be genuinely surprised at how much more confident, how much more comfortable you feel with English after just 7 days.
And that brings up a final thought, something for you to maybe mull over after this deep dive.
Oh, I like a final thought.
If just 10 minutes a day can actually transform your English learning, what other parts of your life could benefit from that same approach? Consistent, small, focused effort.
Interesting. Like fitness or reading more.
Could be anything. Fitness, reading that pile of books, tackling clutter. The principle is the same, isn't it? Micro-learning, consistent action. It's about making real progress one small step at a time and seeing how those little shifts can lead to really big changes.
Before you go, remember this. Every word you learn makes you stronger. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel. You'll find more lessons, more stories, and more English practice to help you feel confident in any situation. Don't forget to like this video and share it with someone who might need it. Let's keep learning together. See you in the next lesson.